business owner, Congressman Latham is currently serving his 8th term as representative of Iowa's 4th District and will be running against Leonard Boswell for the newly redrawn 3rd District this coming November. I think we can all agree that Congressman Latham is one of the finest representatives in Congress today. By exemplifying Iowa traditions of hard work and strong values, along with being dedicated to promoting individual liberty, economic opportunity, fiscal responsibility, and a smaller, smarter federal government, he truly is a great role model for young conservatives like ourselves and gives us a great standard to strive to. He is Iowa's only member of the House Appropriations Committee, considered to be one of the most influential in Congress. Congressman Latham also serves as the chairman of the Appropriations Subcommittee on Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development, as well as serving as the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture and House Appropriations Subcommittee on Homeland Security. Without much further ado, please help me give a warm welcome to Congressman Latham.
Thank you, Ingrid, very much for that kind introduction, just like we wrote it. And, it's great to be with you this morning. I'm sure you're all a little bit blurry-eyed this morning from being up all night celebrating the 2nd anniversary of the President's health care plan. Right? It is great to be with you. I always think about with the college Republicans. I have a very good friend. His name is Rich Schwarm from up at Lake Mills. He was former chairman of the Iowa Republican Party. And he got his start in politics at college Republicans, in the state level and then actually at the national conventions, they elected the national president and all those things. And he had a very good associate who they worked together on a lot of those different campaigns inside the organization that has been a lifelong friend of his. And like you're developing your friendships today and will last lifetimes. That guy happened to be Karl Rove. And they have worked together over the years, obviously Iowa playing a pivotal role on the national stage as far as the caucuses and what we do here, but that relationship has meant a tremendous amount for the state of Iowa. So I just congratulate you for what you're doing here today, what you will be doing in the future for the relationships, the networking that you're going to be doing today can have a huge impact on this country in the future. But again, congratulations on being here. I would always look back, representing Iowa State University, and the fact that in the last 2 elections, because of the college Republicans and the kind of work that they've done up there, we've been able to carry the university precincts each of those last 2 times, which is not always easy for a Republican, I can assure you. But we have, and it's been a great effort. This new campaign that we have, where we're running against Mr. Boswell, obviously we have Drake, we have Simpson, we have other colleges in the district that we're going to need everybody's help. And it is absolutely critical that we get every vote out that we can, that we work together as a team, and that we will win this November. I can assure you Mr. Boswell will be retired to wherever he goes, I don't know, but somewhere other than in Congress today. As you all know, Iowa lost a representative. We go from 5 districts to 4. The redrawn map is much different than what it was before. They originally put Steve King and myself together, which I thought was not a good idea. For have 2 conservative Republicans running against each other, to have 3 liberal Democrats basically have free rides. And so I moved, now a resident of Clive here, where almost 37 years ago now, I can't believe it, but when my wife and I first got married, that's where we lived for a year, was in Clive. So you find out you don't get very far in your life. You full circle back from Clive back to Clive again. But it's great to be in this district. The response has been tremendous, very positive in Polk County. I currently represent Dallas, Madison, and Warren counties, and they've been extraordinarily supportive in the last 10 years. But a lot of hard work to do here in Polk County, and certainly over west. The reason that it's so important what you're doing and what I'm fighting for in Washington is for your future. The fact of the matter is we're $15.5 trillion in debt. The president's budget would put us another $11 trillion in debt over the next 10 years. It simply is not sustainable. Our country will limit opportunities for you in the future if in fact so much of our wealth goes to just servicing that debt in the future. And that's at current interest rates. If we go back anywhere normal to service that debt, it's going to take every dime of income tax paid into the federal government just to service the debt. Nothing productive, nothing won't help you on your student loans, won't help create opportunities in the marketplace for you, but just to service that debt, and there's a lot of it paid to places like China. Is that really productive for us? It isn't. So what we've been fighting for is to actually get some common sense in the House of Representatives. This next week we will pass Paul Ryan's budget, and that will give us a pathway forward to actually reducing that debt and finally get to balance again. Out of the $3.8 trillion spent each year in Washington last year, was 1.3 of that was borrowed money. 37 cents on every dollar was borrowed from other places. And it can't go on, it simply can't. And what we've got to look at is not, if you break the budget up, 2/3 of which is mandatory spending, entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, highway bill, farm bill, all those things, and interest on the debt. The other, less than a third actually, is discretionary spending, and that's defense. That's all of the other programs that people really like. But you could do away with all the discretionary, defense, everything, still have a $250 billion deficit. It is crazy what we're doing. And that's why we've got to have adults in the room. We've got to change. Certainly the House of Representatives will do their work this year. Harry Reid in the Senate will again punt for the 3rd year in a row. Can you believe having a $3.8 trillion budget and not have a budget? Or spending 3.8 and not having a budget? But that's what the Senate's going to do again. They're going to punt for the 3rd year. And that's why I think the responsibility that we assume and the leadership that we assume, they're tough votes. And you'll see ads out there saying that, Paul Ryan's pushing grandma over the cliff. Literally, they had an ad last year with an old woman in a wheelchair, Paul Ryan dumping her over the cliff. That's the kind of, if you have nothing else to run on, you demagogue and you lie about your opponents. And that's what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is the American people get it today, that this is not sustainable, that they know in their hearts that we're losing our freedoms, that the very liberties that people have fought for generations for in this country are in jeopardy today. And I would just tell you, for a guy like me, it probably doesn't matter that much. I'll be okay. But my daughter, just January 4th, had a new baby, my 5th grandchild. I look at that little boy, he took his first breath and he was $50,000 in debt. That's his share of the national debt. It's crazy. And we've got to make sure that we have people there that will do the right thing for the right reasons. That's what Speaker Boehner always talks about, has this tough job, hard and all this. Well, if you do the right thing for the right reason, you'll get the right result. And that's really what this is all about. We have got to make sure that this election, certainly we don't have a Senate race here in Iowa, but we've got to win the Senate. But the most important thing in Iowa is going to be a target this year in the presidential race. It's one of those swing states. Already the Obama people have about 8 offices, I think, open in the state. They will have a couple hundred paid people in Iowa organizing. We don't do it that way. What we rely on are volunteers and people like yourselves to actually do that kind of work. It's different, our model, but we can fight this back because we are right on the issues. And the president can go out and talk all he wants to, but he's going to be held accountable for high gas prices. He's going to be held accountable for a health care bill that simply won't work. And if you noticed last week, the Congressional Budget Office doubled the cost of the president's health care bill from $940, a little over $900 billion to almost $1.2 trillion. And as we go 2 more years, you'll see that cost go up dramatically, because what they did originally was took 10 years of tax revenues and apply it to 6 years of coverage. It's really a good deal if you can get it, but you know, it's simply not real. So when it actually kicks in, you're going to see annual cost to the federal government. I think somewhere, you know, $250 to $300 billion more spending, and it isn't going to solve the problem. We're still going to have, even by their own estimates, over 25 million people in America that won't have health insurance. Does this fix the problem? Does it just cost more? Has the government take over your health care? They'll have a 15-member panel there that will make decisions. Unelected bureaucrats who don't have any congressional review, who don't have judicial review, who do not have executive department, executive agency review. It's crazy. What they say will be the law of the land as to what your health care is. And they'll be making those decisions that used to be made between the patient and the doctor, let alone the costs that are going to be dramatically higher. About 74% of small businesses right now are saying that they are hesitant to hire anybody because of the health care bill. 30% of them said they have quit hiring entirely. And it's things like this why we have 8.3% unemployment. In reality, it's about 18% underemployed and unemployed in this country right now. And what they're saying is, with the taxes going up at the end of the year with this president, the amount of regulations coming down, whether it be from EPA, whether it be in the health care bill, whether it be because of Dodd-Frank, the financial services reform, all of those things, that people are just very, very scared for the future. They don't know what the federal government's going to do to them next. We've got to have certainty in the economy. We've got to have a limited role for the federal government. This is a free enterprise system. It's not a Soviet-style bureaucracy that controls the economy. Our success has always been freedom and opportunity, but I'm just very concerned that your opportunities in the future are going to be very much limited if we continue this huge expansion of the federal government. So I would just ask each and every one of you, no matter where you are, which college, university, that you get deeply involved this fall. We have some great opportunities out there to win in the state of Iowa. Certainly my race, Steve King's. Over east, I will tell you, we have an opportunity over there. There's in the 2nd district with Mr. Loebsack. He's going to have a very divisive primary race. He will come out of that much weaker and divided as far as the Democrat Party, and I think you could actually have a very good opportunity. We've got some good candidates running for that seat. Certainly any kind of help given there would be a real benefit. Even the people in the People's Republic of Johnson County could certainly make a huge difference over in Iowa City. So anyway, I would much rather try to answer some questions, but it's an honor for me to be with you this morning, and let's do